Ooh, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. The day is beginning. There's so much to do. So much to do. Child, good morning. Destiny is feeling her great, wonderful self today. Oh, how's everybody out there? Good morning, good evening, good day, good afternoon, good night to wherever you may be across this beautiful globe. Today is April 13, 2020. Let me get in here so I'm gonna get close to you guys. Hey, how you doing? I'm gonna get real close because I got this powerful message that I'm gonna share with you guys this morning. So I'm gonna get close. You probably say, I've never been this close to you, Destiny. It's okay. I'm touchable from the inside to the outside. Touch. When you touch Destiny, when Destiny touch you, we are transferring love, genuine love to one another in the best possible way that the Creator of the universe would want us to transfer that love. You know, get out here and start talking. Guys, listen. I'm gonna talk with you on consciousness again. And yesterday I did a video on the 7 levels of consciousness. And so today I'm going to talk about, do we know what consciousness is? That's a question. And if you want to answer that question, you're welcome. Put your answer in the comment box and share your answer with me and all the other viewers out there. I know Destiny would love to hear your answers. I'm always encouraging you guys. I'll make this quick, so let's go. Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. And I'm kind of whispering because I want, there's a lot of people out there sometimes don't want to hear what I'm going to say, but I know on this platform here, Destiny Forever, we know who we are. We know our divine purpose. We know that we're moving to our greater, higher self, so I know you want to hear this. But guys, we live long years full of travail, sorrow, pain, fear, and then on the other side of that, you know, there's sometimes we're living in joy, we're living in peace, we're living in love, pleasure, and a lot of times, guys, we are chasing the path to find who we are. And I know we all have been down that journey, and some are still headed in that direction toward that path of learning who they are. So guys, listen. We are constantly running to places of worship, places where we can fellowship with one another. We are running to religious teachings. We are running to spirituality teachings, whatever teachings that may be out there. We're always running and running in search to find who we are, to find our greater, higher self, to find who the God is. And we're constantly out there running around, talking to people, listening to people, you know, just we got that hunger and that thirst because we want to know who we are. And the only way that you're going to find out is you got to stay with it for the long haul. You don't quit, you don't give up, you don't let other people beliefs or their faith or what they're doing turn you away from where you know that you really truly are in search of. And we are constantly running all the time looking for the person that stands in front of the mirror. Every time you look into the mirror, you're always constantly looking. And like I said, you even go into your Bibles to find out who God is. Guys, listen. But let me ask you this again. But do we know who we are? Do we know what consciousness is? The body, guys, this soul body here, the temple of the Creator God, this body is the organism. And the organism of this body, it wears out through the misuse of it, through diseases, through depression, through anxieties, through fears. through lies and deceptions that were on us, bringing on stress. This whole body right here, this organism, it wears out through constant conflict and battle inwardly. Here we are always debating and trying to decide on the right and the wrong, the good and the bad, the ugly and the beautiful. You know what I'm saying? We always running and chasing for answers and looking for something that's always never will find outside, but will always be inside. So that's why I always tell you, go inwardly. And we constantly go through conflict, trying to find the right path, the right place, the right thing, the right truth. Like I said, truth can be everything. The truth is what you believe within yourself. We always trying to find that right or that wrong, that good or that bad. Or I am Hindu and you are Muslim. I am Christian and you are Buddhist. All this division. And division is what separates us. Division is what destroys us. Division is what disconnects us from ourselves as a whole, as a people, created for one divine purpose, that we come together as one. And we're constantly allowing division to separate us from who the Creator God is of the universe. And once we disconnect from the Creator God, we disconnect from the universe, we disconnect from our divine true selves and our divine purpose, we disconnect from the path that the Creator is leading us on to find that greater and higher consciousness. And all this division comes like this: the me, the I, the we, and the they. Everybody got their opinions. It's about me, it's about I, it's about we, it's about they, whatever it is, not about any of us at all. It's all about the Creator God of the universe. He called you out of darkness and into the marvelous light. And when we come into that light, we gotta come into that place and that door of stillness and quietness, and allow all of the lies and the programs and all the things that we have learned to be unlearned and to be retaught, not from man's platform, not from religious platform, not from teachings of religions or whatever the faith that you may be in, but through the path and the teachings of God, who had created this foundation before we were ever born. He already laid everything out. And guys, conflict and division are what we're making constantly and what we are creating constantly, day in and day out. We are creating all of this in our physical bodies, and it's burning us out, it's wearing us out, it's killing us. Because the Bible says this: cast all our cares upon the Creator God, because He cares for us. He knows that we can't handle all the conflicts. He knows we can't handle all the pain. He knows we can't even handle all the truth. That's why you don't have it. And that's why you're not going to get it all. Not at this place where we are in life. But listen, psychologically, inwardly, this conflict that we go through daily, that we put ourselves in, this conflict wears down this beautiful temple of the Creator God. It wears down our bodies. And living in a polluted world as we do, living in this confusion world as we do, living in this world of sickness and diseases and all of that, and living in this world that people think that they got this higher power over the children of the Most High. Guys, it wears us down when we continue to allow ourselves to be connected and attached to those things of the matrix system. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, and living in this polluted world as we are, guys, we don't find the sicknesses. We're gonna find a lot of pollution. And I did a video on mind pollution. Go back and pull that up. Mind pollution. We're gonna be living in strife, inwardly and outwardly, always conflicting and always warring against one another, fighting, debating, disagreeing, and trying to pull down our brothers and sisters. So you can be the spotlight, the star that shines. But we're never sent here on this earth to shine alone or to be alone. We are one people. We are one. And all of this worrying, all this fighting, all this sickness, all this disease, all this pain, conflicts, and everything that we allow to put on our bodies, and we allow everything that everybody else brings, we put on our body, guys, it weighs the body down, along with the bad diet that we choose to eat, along with being overworked on our jobs or whatever things that we choose to do. And definitely, guys, being enslaved to the matrix systems and all the overindulgence and all the rest that comes along with it. The ego and his programs, the ego and his darkness to keep us at our lower state of consciousness, and everything else that we allow to come into our environment and come involved in our lives and in the path and the plan that the Creator has He's already planned for us to live. All of this, everything comes along with it. And what we do, we just say, write it on in, come on in. And we sit down with it, we live with it, we program ourselves to it. We wire ourselves to all these negative things, to all this pain, to all this hurt, and to everything that the Creator never meant for us to wire ourselves to. He already predestinated us in our lives before the foundation of the world. He called us out of darkness into the marvelous light. He put his light into you when he stepped onto this planet, to this earth. And the earth was void and without form, and there was no light. And when he spoke, darkness had to fade away, and light came. And he took that light and put it into you. Wow. Yeah, let me say, the organism must inevitably come to an end. I'm gonna breathe right there. Okay. And our knowing, guys, let me say this again. Am I close enough? And our knowing that it has to come to an end because the Creator is calling us to our greater and higher self. All of this confusion, all of these things that keep us unseparated from the Creator God, keep us inseparable from one another. It all has to come to an end. And knowing that doesn't cause us so much fear. So what causes the fear, guys? It's losing consciousness as the known. Losing consciousness as the known. It's the things that we know. It's the things that we know. We know because we have that gut intuition. We know that our answers and everything within us, but we deny the truth. We deny everything that we know, and we go along with everything for everybody else is teaching us, outside of what the programs and the plans of the Creator God. But we know. We know. And what causes all the fear that we are allowing ourselves to go through is all because losing consciousness as the known. And think about it. It's the things that we know, like, I know what I have to achieve in life. I know what I have not achieved in my life. I know my friends. I know my families. I know my job. I know my wife. I know my husband. I know my children. I know my passions. I know my desires. I know my pleasures. I know my anxieties. I know myself. But do you really know yourself? If you allow yourself to continue to be programmed, if you allow yourself to be distracted with all the ego traps and everything that the world systems keeps throwing at you, Do you really know yourself? But you say, I know myself. But when you do come to that place that you know yourself, guys, that is the totality of your consciousness. That's a need to say that again. I gotta feel my heart. Said my heart about to race away from me. That's true. When you feel your heart beat at that rate, that real, the truth that just stood up inside of you. I know myself. You have to know yourself. And to know yourself, guys, that is the totality of your consciousness. That is consciousness. That is consciousness. Self-awareness. That's self-awareness of who you are. That's self-awareness of your plans, of your life, of your purpose, of your goals. That's your self-awareness of the things that you're around, the things that you're in. You are self-aware of all these things on a daily basis. That is self-awareness. Aware of oneself. And if you ain't got to that place, then you still keep digging and searching till you know what consciousness really means. So let me give you a little furthermore bit about consciousness. And maybe give you a clearer revelation and a deeper understanding what consciousness is. Peace. Sometimes you have to breathe, guys. Breathe. Consciousness is its content. Its content makes up consciousness. And he said, what content? All the things that you allow to evolve around your life and your world that comes in and out of your mind on a daily basis, the things that you allow yourself to be thrown into every single day, the things that you're living in, the things that you are existing in and around, those make up the contents. And all of those things, it makes up consciousness. And this is not complex at all. We make life, we make everything about life so complicated. But this is not complex. It is very simple. It's like the breath that we breathe, because every day we wake up, we know that we're going to fall into some content, some pattern of content, that we'll wake up into some place of content. And your consciousness is made up of its content. The content, let me go a little deeper and give you more understanding. The content could be your education. It could be your attachment to your furniture, or attachment to that cell phone, or the attachment to your family, to your tradition, even the attachment to your name, to the attachment to your job or your car, or anything that you're involved or engage yourself in every single day, the contents that you allow to define your life. Your conscience is made of all of these contents. It's made up the contents to your particular experiences that you experience. The identification with a country that you may live in or may have been to or long to go to. Or your contents may be to your house, or to the gods that you serve, or the God that you serve, or the God that you resonate with within you. Or the gods that you may have invented. Like I said, oh, God can be anything. We can worship anything that we give our focus, our full attention, our passion, our time, our energy to. It can become a God. It doesn't matter what it is. A God could be money, food, clothes, children, house, cars. I mean, it could be any of those things. Or a God, whatever you do, give it a name. A God is just a name. A God, just a name. And people always say, when you look at God, G-O-D, and you turn it around, spell backwards, D-O-G, you get it. I'm not saying no further because I'm not going to get into that debate with anybody on that. I just mentioned that little something I just threw out there at you, okay? A God can be anything that you may have invented or someone else has invented and brought into your territory. See, these are contents that create consciousness. So just listen. When you are attached to your furniture is a part of your consciousness. When you're attached to whatever God that you resonate with or whatever God that you believe in or serve, that God become a part of your consciousness. When you are frightened, guys, that comes a part of your consciousness. When you are ambitious, you get it? It becomes a part of your consciousness. Even your greediness, your envious, all that makes up your consciousness. That consciousness is the me. It's the I. It's the you. It's the self. It's the higher self. That a lot of people run around talking about their higher self, growing into your higher self. But do you know who your higher self is? Do you know what consciousness is? Do you know that consciousness could be your lower self? Now you got choices. Your higher self is the soul consciousness, your higher greater self. But then you still remember we came into this world through our lower self of the ego at the solar plexus there, right there in the womb. We were born that in that darkness in that womb, that dark night of the soul, the ego, it created a life for us and it programmed us before we were born, because the Creator God has already predestined our lives before we were even placed into our mother's womb. And when the ego consciousness, subconsciousness, the ego, subconsciousness kept us in that womb for those 9 months. It was programming us and it was defining a new life away from what the Creator God has created for us to be. And it gave us a false identity. It gave us a false name. It gave us a false purpose. It gave us a false reason for us coming into this world. It just took everything that the Creator God had placed in us from the foundation of the earth, and it turned around and said, hey, this is you. This is your life. This is who you were created to be. That's the ego traps. All of that, people, that was a part of your lower self. But there was a higher self that your soul consciousness is always pulling you toward, your greater and higher self. That's the part that the Creator God has created you to be. That consciousness. It's that me. It's the self. It could be the higher self. It could be the lower self. Now, divide the self as much as you like, people, and it is still within that field of that consciousness. I don't care how many times you divide it, it will still always be in the field of that consciousness. All about you, all about me. That's what it is. All about you, all about me. It's you, guys. It's all about us. That consciousness is the unknown. That's the place a lot of people fear. That's the place where a lot of people, when they're in religion, they're afraid to step outside of religion and to find that higher, greater consciousness. Because then people start saying, oh, we are diving or we are dealing then into wickedness and witchcraft and evilness, and we are going outside and making ourselves God, and that is wicked, and we're going to hell. People, I'm going to tell you again, ain't no hell outside of you. Hell is within you. Ain't no heaven outside of you, but God has put heaven in you. He said heaven is in you. The consciousness is the unknown. You may not be aware of that. You may not be aware of the total unknown people. That's why so many fears is always coming up against you, because you are allowing yourself to be opened up to the fears, because I don't trust the unknown. I don't know what's beyond where I am. You have to trust the divine creator. You gotta trust him. Lean not to thy own understanding, but with all thy heart. I gotta come to the place that I trust God. You may not only be aware of this, but you have to be aware that there is a greater, higher calling on your life. And you may only be aware of the partial known, but there's a higher calling, and your God, the creator of the universe, your energy source, your higher intelligence, your infinite intelligence, your divine source, the creator, the universe is calling you to your highest self. Come out of those fears, come out of the matrix, come out of the ego traps, come out of the things that I never called you to be. Come away from those things so I can continue to grow you to the place that I have predestined for you to be. The higher calling, the God that you are, the God consciousness that you are, the soul consciousness. And when you look at consciousness, people, just gotta breathe again. When you look at consciousness, not as an observer looking at the observed, but without the observer. When you look totally at this consciousness, then you will see all of its contents. Everything that I just explained and went over to you a few minutes ago. Go back, replay, listen. When you look at consciousness, not as an observer looking at the observed, but without the observer, when you look totally at this consciousness, you will see all of its content, not little by little, but the totality of consciousness. Because the creator of the universe, God, he holds nothing back for those who are seeking and who are diving in deep for truth and knowledge. Because he said, get wisdom, get knowledge, and with all that get understanding. And when you hunger and thirst for righteousness, when you hunger and thirst for the truth, when you hunger and thirst to know who you are, when you hunger and thirst and want to know what consciousness is, when you want to know all these things, he says, I'm not going to hold it back from you. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you the whole totality of consciousness. So be daring. Be brave, be bold, and you stand and you trust the Creator to give it to you. Guys, to understand the totality of consciousness and to look at it, analysts, guys, has no place. You can't even have no place. It can't not stand in the platform in the same place with it. Analysts has no place. Guys, the content of my consciousness is consciousness. And vice versa, the contents of your consciousness is consciousness. They are indivisible. They are inseparable. So, remove the contents. Remove the content, and there is no consciousness as we know it. And you got it. And that's just a little something to think about. And I'm going to see you guys at the next video. Namaste. Continue to have a great day. I don't know, but it's day 11. I don't know, but it's day 11. Day 11. Day 11. That Destiny has been furloughed from her job, and I'm just learning more about myself and my higher, greater self. And I'm here now so I can be able to encourage and edify people more. That's just a little something to think about. Guys, I'm gonna see you at the next video. I will see you at the next video. Destiny is here. She's going away to get get more information to bring your way. I will see you at the next video. I will see you at the next video. Cause Destiny is here. She's going away to get more information to bring your way. And I'll see you. I will see you at the next video. Namaste. Continue. Have a great day. Beautiful Monday. Guys, April 13, 2020. I love you guys. Stay focused, stay centered, focused, stay steadfast. Keep your face up. Keep your strength up. Go against the fears. Trust the universe, your God. He got you. Fear not, for He is with you.